Last year, the average American spent $3,381 on things they never planned to buy. Not bills, not rent, not groceries on the list. Things they grabbed, clicked, or tapped without thinking. That's $282 a month gone on purchases that weren't even a thought 5 minutes before they happened. And right now, you're probably thinking, yeah, but that's not me. I'm pretty disciplined. Really? Think about the last thing you bought online. Not the thing you researched for weeks. The other one. The one you saw, wanted, and owned within 90 seconds. The one-click purchase. The add to cart while lying in bed purchase. The I deserve this purchase. You remember it because you barely remember using it since. That purchase wasn't an accident. It was engineered, and your brain was the target. There's a rule that can stop it cold. It takes zero willpower, costs nothing, and the average person who uses it saves over $1,000 a year. But before I tell you what it is, you need to understand exactly what's happening in your head in the 12 seconds before you buy something you don't need, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. When you spot something you want, a jacket, a gadget, a pair of sneakers on sale, your brain doesn't do what you think it does. It doesn't weigh the pros and cons, it doesn't check your budget, it doesn't ask, do I need this? It releases dopamine. Not after you buy it, before. The dopamine hits during the anticipation. The moment you imagine owning it, the moment you picture yourself wearing it, using it, unboxing it, your brain is already rewarding you for a purchase you haven't made yet. Neuroscience research has shown that the nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward center, activates not when you receive the product, but when you anticipate receiving it. Your brain literally treats the desire as the reward. So by the time your thumb reaches the buy button, you're not making a rational decision. You're chasing a feeling that already started. This is why the moment after you buy something impulsively, the excitement fades almost instantly. The dopamine was in the wanting, not the having. And now you're left with a shipping notification and a vague sense that you just did something you didn't need to do. But it gets worse, because the people selling to you know this. Every major e-commerce platform in 2026 is designed around one principle: eliminate the gap between desire and purchase. One-click checkout, saved payment info, buy now, pay later so you don't even feel the money leave your account. The entire system is built to make sure you never have time to think. And it's working. 40% of all online spending now comes from impulse purchases, not planned buys. Impulse. Nearly half of consumers are making at least one online impulse purchase every single week, and 1 in 5 Americans has spent $1,000 or more on a single thing they didn't plan to buy. Think about that. $1,000 on something that wasn't even a thought until an algorithm put it in front of your face. Here's why this matters. It's not just the money you spent, it's the money that money could have become. If you redirected that $3,300 per year into an index fund averaging 8% returns, in 20 years you'd have over $160,000. You're not losing $3,000 a year, you're losing a future. And the cruelest part is you already know this. You've known it for years. So why can't you stop? Because knowing isn't enough when your brain is working against you. There are 3 psychological triggers that fire in sequence every time you make an impulse purchase, and they happen so fast you don't even notice them. The first is scarcity. Only 3 left. Sale ends tonight. Limited edition. Scarcity creates urgency, and urgency shuts down your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning and rational thought. When you feel like something might disappear, your survival brain takes over, the same brain that once told your ancestors to grab food before another predator did. The second is social proof. 12,000 people bought this today. Trending now. Bestseller. Your brain uses other people's behavior as a shortcut for decision-making. If everyone else is buying it, it must be good. If everyone else is buying it, you must be missing something. This is pure herd instinct, and online platforms have turned it into a science. The third, and this is the one that gets you, is emotional state. Research consistently shows that impulse buying spikes when you're stressed, bored, tired, or lonely. It's not a coincidence that your worst purchases happen at 11 at night when you're scrolling in bed. Your willpower is depleted, your emotions are running the show, and every ad you see is precision targeted to hit you at your most vulnerable. Scarcity, social proof, emotional state. Those three things align and your wallet opens before your brain catches up. But here's what nobody tells you. All three of these triggers have an expiration date.
This is the 72-hour rule, and it's stupidly simple. When you feel the urge to buy something unplanned, anything over $20 that you didn't walk in or log on intending to purchase, you don't say no, you don't fight the urge, you don't use willpower. You just say, not yet. You write it down, the item, the price, the date, and you wait 72 hours. That's it. What happens in those 72 hours is the entire point. The scarcity illusion fades. That only 3 left was a lie. There are always more. The social proof loses its grip because you're no longer in the environment that created it. And your emotional state shifts. The stress or boredom or loneliness that was driving the purchase has been replaced by something else entirely. After 72 hours, either you still want it, in which case buy it. It's a real want, a considered decision, no guilt. Or, and this is what happens about 70% of the time, you look at that note and think, why did I even want that? That's not willpower. That's just time. Time is the antidote to impulse. And here's what makes this work when everything else fails. Budgets require discipline every single day. Spending trackers require you to look at numbers that stress you out. Cutting up credit cards is dramatic, but impractical. The 72-hour rule asks almost nothing of you. It just inserts a pause between the dopamine spike and the action. 3 days. That's all it takes to let your prefrontal cortex catch up to your reward system. But I want to be honest with you. This rule isn't actually about saving money. It's about something bigger. Every impulse purchase you make is a vote for the person you don't want to be. The version of you that reacts instead of decides. The version that lets algorithms choose where your money goes. The version that trades $160,000 of future wealth for 3 seconds of dopamine. The 72-hour rule doesn't just change your spending, it changes the relationship between you and every purchase you make for the rest of your life. Because once you start noticing the triggers, the scarcity, the social proof, the emotional state, you can't stop noticing them. They're everywhere. Every ad, every checkout page, every limited time offer. And once you see the machine stops working. I said at the top that the average person who uses this rule saves over $1,000 in the first year. Some people save $5,000, some save $10,000. But the real number, the one that matters, is the one you can't calculate yet. It's every dollar you'll never waste for the rest of your life, compounding quietly in the background while everyone else is still clicking buy now at midnight. Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually answer this one in the comments. What was the last impulse purchase you made that you completely forgot about until right now? We all have one. The thing that felt urgent in the moment and meaningless 3 days later. That gap between urgent and meaningless is exactly where the 72-hour rule lives. The most expensive purchases in your life aren't the big ones. They're the small ones you never thought about, added up year after year, decade after decade. And all it takes to stop them is 3 days. If this is the first wealth theory video you've seen, we break down one hidden financial mechanism every week, the psychology that's quietly draining you. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.